Like this?
Achha, achha.
So here is one union council which is representative of the type of relief, rehabilitation and reconstruction work that Imran Khan Foundation is keen to undertake. This union council has over 7 to 8 villages, and it is here that we find that the composition of the population is truly heterogeneous. There are people who have no land, there are people who have 5 acres to 20 acres, there are Muslims, there are non-Muslims. So it's like a truly representative sample of one of the deprived districts in the Sindh province. In today's meeting, we discussed with the community leaders, the teachers, and even the young volunteers how to proceed. That is the other part of our program. That start a program with active community participation, building their participation right from the word go and giving them a sense of ownership, and not making decisions or coming from outside and delivering the assistance in shape of food or provision of safe drinking water or essential medicines. So the approach here is below up community participation to give them some kind of long lasting skills in the hazard management approaches. So what we discussed with them was an outline of how this work will proceed. So Asfandyar, one of the things was this, that we said let's listen from the teachers and the community leaders that how this flood has hit them. And I have no hesitation in telling you that I was really touched and shocked at the type of suffering these people are going through and how they can keep this sense of resiliency, in order to face all these things. And ordinary mortals will give up and cry while telling what they have been through. And even now their homes are submerged in about 8 to 10 feet of water. They say that their crops are gone, the vegetables are taken away, and the price of the cattle, which is their biggest asset, has gone down crazily. One of the old, because one is that the illness which has come into the animals, and one of the old men of this community, Abdul Khalik, he said that the price of a buffalo, which was 1 lakh rupees, has come down to 30,000 rupees. So you can imagine that there is almost like a 70% decrease in price. And your question, why is that? They are saying because we don't even have the fodder for these animals. So everybody is ready to sell. And when you have more supply and less demand, the price goes down. That's the simple economics. Elasticity of demand, yeah. Because everybody is trying to say, oh, I must sell. They are saying that even the goats, which were selling for 4,000 rupees or 3,000 rupees have come down to 600 and 700 rupees because they have no money at all, and that's why they are ready to sell off their animals and their cattle. So that's one reason. The other one is the incidence of disease in the animals. So that's the situation with which they are coping here now. The other issue was that what about the safe drinking water? It's acute shortage in this Union Council of Kot Ghulam Muhammad. Right now they bring water from 4 to 5 miles of distance, go in the morning, trek and fill some kind of containers and get back, because the water system which was operational here has gone totally berserk and destroyed, and all the sewage water and water mixed with pesticides that is what is coming through the pipe water supply scheme, and they don't know what will be the alternative. So that also we discussed with them, and then we said, okay, now how long do you think this situation will last? That is the worst scenario. The worst scenario is this, that most of these people who are very old have lived here for about 6 decades or so. They are saying we haven't seen a flood like that in last 70 years. And the way the water is here, we think it will not go away in next 5 to 6 months. That means they will lose completely the rabi crop and the chance to even have cultivation of Surajmukhi, which is the sunflower, and the vegetables, which they could sow if the water goes down. But we still said, no, let's go for the best possible scenario. Best possible scenario is that the water might recede in some areas which are a little bit higher, and what must be available for the rabi crop for wheat cultivation may be a land area of about 400 acres. So we said, okay, we can plan to have the seeds for cultivation over 400 acres of land, and that also among small farmers. The second one is that the sunflower, and they said after that is the cultivation of sunflower, for which they might be able to reclaim another 600 acres. So, and the cultivation of sunflower will be after, it can be done even January, February. So you have a chance to catch these 3 crops. At the same time, on small tracts of land, they say they could grow vegetables and like onions and tomatoes and ladyfinger. So we have these 3 options: wheat, sunflower, and some vegetables. And we can plan in this Union Council to give them seeds for over 1,000 acres of land. That will be a very big support and a relief for them. Then, in order to take the approach forward, which is based on mobilization of the young village volunteers with some education, because the school is right now underwater, as we saw, and the children are not coming to the primary school. They have the higher secondary school, so both the schools are non-functional and they don't have a space to start the classes. So we gathered the students around us and we talked to them. How many of them are willing to be the volunteers in this program, which wants to bring the positive change in their village after the floods? Most of the students are very keen, but they don't know how. So we discussed with them that the plan is to start with the food relief, go on to the safe drinking water. After that, strengthening the basic health amenities and combat the outbreak of diseases. The young students and the volunteers are very keen to go down that lane and work together. So Anjum will come back and discuss with them tomorrow or day after. But we said to them that from Monday we can start the food distribution. We've got the names of the students, we've got their phone numbers, we've given them an idea about the program, and we were touched by the appreciation of the community, although we have not given them anything right now. It was only a brainstorming session with them, discussing how we can proceed, and they were honest enough to concede that some other groups had come to give them assistance. But today, after this meeting, they feel a sense of dignified approach to a problem, and they don't feel as if they are passive recipients of some charitable contribution. They have received some contribution from the government and some religious groups, but few far and in between, which is not enough. But we agreed with them that the Imran Khan Foundation's assistance will focus on truly needy, most deserving, and the vulnerable groups. And the community will be accountable that the assistance goes where it can make the most difference. So they will be able to maintain a very open, transparent system, keep the registers, and work with us as a team. So I think perhaps this is the best way to develop a quick plan of action with active community participation, so that they understand from the day one that what is it that we bring to the equation and what is their contribution. So their contribution is in terms of human resources. They took the responsibility for taking care of the warehousing facilities, for keeping the register, for managing the distribution. And it was discussed that so far, due to the gravity of the situation and the problem being enormous and much more than any organization can provide for, there have been incidents of violence and chaotic, indiscipline and reckless, snatching of goods and food items. Here in this community, we hope that we will be able to apply the lessons we have learned in the other areas. So it seems that the Mirpur Khas Union Council, Kot Ghulam Muhammad, will be yet another step forward in our efforts to evolve and grow as we go forward, and to improve and to compensate for some of the lapses and errors that we make along the way. Thank you very much.
Excellent. That's what I was saying. Sir,